Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Colin Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, it's Tuesday, which means it's replay day for the SD2 Season 5 League. Today, outside the village of Zabuchsin, who do we have here, Rang?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have JKW playing the 5th Panzer Division with a Vanguard income. On the right-hand side in red, we have Grey Fox playing 3rd Guard Mechanized, also with a Vanguard income.
Alright, so this is Division 1
Yep.
kind of action over here. As you can kind of see from both of the decks, nothing super surprising here. Just 5th Panzer being 5th Panzer, and 3rd Guards being 3rd Guards. I guess the only thing I probably would call out is I'm surprised to see Su-76s over here in Phase A. I don't know why. That is a little weird to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, like good cheap fire support. They're nice to have. But yeah, early on we got Panda Strikes as you're getting into the town first. Actually trying to get the Augment Cheekies, but do not get the hit on those rather slick motorbikes here. One of them's going to unload, and the second one's just going to unload right next to a Panda Strike, which is not ideal for the Panda Strike, I believe.
And yet, at the same time, he's able to kind of fight them off, so I'm surprised a little bit there.
Same here. And here comes the cavalry, a bunch of superiors going to be rusting into the town. And this is a very interesting map, just due to how this town is, like, located, so to speak. Like, it is a very good... We don't see this map all that often, but it's a very interesting fight, this town. You got, like, a good amount of cover to really push through. I think you can get some really cool infantry engagements here. And even though I'd say most maps, like, a central town position is very important, I think you can get array in this map just pushing flanks if you so desire. But I haven't really seen this map being played all that often, so that could be proven wrong. But it's going pretty well here so far for Grey Fox. He's pushing him pretty hard with the Emchers and Superiors.
It certainly seems to be the case. Now, we are seeing those P4Js, of course, basically the recon Panzer over here, doing decently well. Until, of course, if he gets smacked in the turret.
Yeah.
But the initial kind of thrust here was not quite as energetic as I would have expected from the 3rd Guard.
Yeah, he didn't manage to get fully into the town. I think the Panzer Strike slowed him down a wee bit, and the Panzer IVs as well. But he is getting a foothold at least, which is better than nothing for now. He still has the armor advantage, 2 Shermans with veterancy over a 1-star vetted P4. In a town fight, I'd really give it to the Shermans, but JKW is bringing in the heavy reinforcements, 2 Panzer IV-Hs and 3 Marder 3s, which is very fitting.
Indeed. But at the same time, let's not discount a reinforcement column coming the other direction as well. 4 squads of infantry, 2 MCHAs, and looks like a Partizani MG42, just because, you know, apparently he was bored.
Yep.
And the Valentine tank over here has finally ambled up to the front lines after his initial, let's say, trooping on in. Now, the fight between P4 and MCHA is going to probably come out here just in one particular fashion, and that's exactly the fashion I expected. You were going to say, sir?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised where Valentine is positioned. It is pretty dangerous in that town fight, yeah. I mean, it's not the best CQC. It's definitely more of a, you know, better on the flanks down south or up north, as you can just use it as a defensive pillbox. Speaking of flanks, far down south we have some Partisanis trying to push through an open field, but there's some rather unhappy Germans who wish they didn't do that.
Yeah, and even though it's just an SDKFZ, and indeed there's an FDKFZ over here in the in the front forests, I can't help but wonder what he was thinking trying to push across that open territory. That's one of those kind of places that, although the vehicles are not strong in the forest, you gotta have some kind of fire support.
Yeah, I think he was just probing it to see if there was anything down there, and due to the death of all his partisans, I think he got his answer.
You know, we're gonna probe something, dude. Buy it dinner first. Martyrs in the meantime range quickly. Taking a 1 MCHA, and again, these guys, these are made for these long... Ooh, yep, and there we go. And that's why you don't bring an MCHA when there's multiple tank destroyers around.
Yeah, this has always been the fun dynamic between, like, the PaK-40 style German vehicles and then the Allied vehicles. You know, longer ranges German guns do a lot of damage, but if your Shermans are getting close, those Marders and Panzer IVs do not have a good time due to the stabilizers. And with how the Marders are set up right now, if he can just keep his Shermans at long range, he should be able to eventually, you know, secure the town by really cutting off any armored support.
Yeah, I was going to say that famous whole, one-word response of if. And you can see already these guards getting pounded. And geez, with all of those vehicles here, it is so strange to see the PTRDs not just completely crush face.
Yeah.
Wolf down below, by the way. Stray support is on the MG42. There is a Dushka carrier, which isn't that basically... Yeah, it's a Bren carrier.
Yeah, it's a Bren carrier, but they decided to put a Dusker on top.
Bizarrely enough, I mean, they still has a Bren in there in the first place.
Oh.
SDKF said it's right next to... Below. Jeez, there's just donations consistently here. It's like a food bank, and now it looks like the SDKF said it's bitten off more than it can chew.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be breaking out of here too, and unfortunately he gets sent with a bit of an upset stomach there.
Indeed, he does. And yeah, Sherman should be able to help re-secure the southern side. He's definitely going to need a little bit more infantry to probe ahead. He's probably going to have a very hard time finding the Panzergrenadier and Sats troopers which are coming in. But yeah, he's going to be getting some of the infantry.
Indeed, some of it. In the meantime, kind of fascinated. What the heck is this? Oh, the Valentine is getting engaged by the 88.
Yeah, it's very interesting calling getting the 88 so early. It's actually a good calling because you can use it to ward off airplanes effectively. Also, just using it as anti-tank. And it's in a good spot. It has good coverage over the central southern area here. It is taking quite a bit of fire.
Yes. Is kind of carving up something fierce, and yeah. I would be backing up here. That's a heavy investment.
Yeah, you don't want to really be losing that, especially so early on.
Nope.
Where's he getting shot at? Oh yeah, I think it's by the MG42 because they have
yep.
1.5 kilometer range.
Dude, hey, I mean they use those for like quasi artillery attacks, beating ground. Like I can make a lot of sense there.
There you go, and the flak does go down there. Very good positioning there of the MG42, knocking out a very expensive unit.
No, not quite the same level of immediate success, but we are 5 mil, who's just engaging a lot of this 5th Panzer armor right along the center line here.
Oh yeah.
Hasn't managed to kill more than a half-track, and he won't be killing anything else as he does go down.
Yeah, it's a pretty good securing from the town here from JKW. As with the Martyrs flanking around the northern side, he's managed to cut off a lot of the armoured reinforcements, and Grey Fox's infantry is slowly getting pushed out. But as you can see, JK is really using his armoured forces to try and make this happen, because his A-phase infantry is pretty pathetic. It's mainly just Sats trooping.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But 5th Panzer, you kind of got to do that, as you don't really have a lot of infantry slots.
Well, you can definitely see it as well. I mean, he is planning for some manner of late game. Now, will we get there? Well, it's a different thing altogether. But at least there's a thought there for it.
Yep. The Grey Fox still has a sliver of the town, the southern side, to be exact. I mean, the Radevkas and Partisanis and Guards are all pretty damn good units, and yeah, it's going to be hard to fight him in a pure infantry fight. JK is really going to need more of the armoured support to try and make his work. Grey Fox is bringing in a rather sneaky Zis-2 here, going to be getting it, fairly close. Very dangerous spot for such long-range AT gun, but hey, at closer range it can penetrate even more.
The interesting thing is he's not going to be able to get line of sight on these, though. Very, very defensively placed. I kind of get, like, he probably should move it a little bit further out, maybe cover that road. He doesn't want to put it on the arterial, that's fine, but be slightly more aggressive in my mind.
Speaking of aggression, JK's really taking the fight up north here. He's actually pushing out of the town and trying to get into this little, village strip here. Some Partisani MGs are going to be stopping him for now, but they are going to go down just due to overwhelming firepower. And Grey Fox bringing in some of those cheap and quite lovely Su-76s to try and stem the tide.
Well, Stepanovich over here has gotten himself a crew kill, so he hasn't gotten the official death. But he's been able to take out the crew for one of those martyrs, of course, that give their life up for the Wehrmacht over here. Quick look over here down to the south just to kind of see how things are continuing to develop. I feel like this air strafing here is probably the only thing keeping things even moderately under control.
Yeah, just trying to get a few pins on those guard DPs at least, but Yeah, the Sherman mixed in with the pretty good infantry that Grey Fox has. His southern side is definitely like his to win, so to speak.
Well, he's got to win something. Right now it's 14-10. It was 15-9 a couple seconds ago, and indeed, Wolf coming in. Yep, you're looking for those guards. If you can stress out the guards, this is a save the cheerleader, save the world kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah, down south, you can only really grab one, two flags, really. Here, it's not a really wealthy area in terms of objectives. So, he's going to make pretty good progress, I think, down south. But he's still going to need to try and stem this bleed in the center. Because that's really the heart of the map here. Just due to all the bloody flags which are nearby.
Well, and right now, see where this M-Shot's going. This is why you actually take this bottom flank. You see where he's coming on up here. He's going to be able to slowly start to control more and more of this battle space. There's two flags over here in the center. If you can go up another, call it 150 meters from where his intended plan is, yeah, at that point he controls another kind of reinforcement point kind of coming in. It's a really vital area. It takes that extra second, that extra step of effort to make it really, really vital.
I really like how Carrier Duska and Half Track are just hanging out, yeah. The Carrier can't shoot because he's out of 50 cal ammunition, so I think he's waiting for his big brother, aka the Sherman, to, show him the true meaning of firepower.
I'm apparently quite turned around. I'm looking for a half track.
Oh, it's north of, yeah.
Underneath the SDK have said, yeah.
Yeah, it's just... They're probably just sharing some cigarettes and like, hey...
Well, it's a Christmas
terrible
truce.
war, eh?
Christmas truce.
Yeah.
I mean, communists celebrate Christmas, right? And then there's, of course, those getting hammered and get taken out. Actually, he stressed out the SDKF's dead.
Oh.
Which I think I would probably wet myself a little bit there too, all things considered.
Yeah, indeed.
SU-76s, they're not engaging. Oh, they're okay. I was just saying, it didn't make a whole lot of sense they were engaging the south.
Yeah, shooting up north here, just trying to get some HE on the outside trooping. Yeah, this northern push is still going pretty good for JK. He definitely needs to try to get some infantry into that strip mall, so to speak, but with all the firepower, it's going to be hard, and he doesn't have great infantry. He does have good anti-tank positions around this forest area. It's a pretty easily defensible area just due to all the medium and heavy forest scattered about. And he got good line of sight on the roads as well. Like his Pack 40 here is going to try and get a sniper or two.
I'm a little surprised by how meager the Phase B is over here for JKW. I mean, if you look at the overall kind of cards that he's, potentially bringing in, we're only really seeing 2 tank tabs, we see 2 infantry tabs, and we see a couple of really the anti-tank. He's not bringing in a whole lot as potential.
No, not really. Yes, he's quite heavy sea phase with the Panzer IV, the Tiger, the Panzer Grenadier card. Yeah, it is pretty meager. I'm actually quite surprised I haven't seen any heavy tanks so far. He's been just, completely dead set on using the Panzer IVs and Marders. And frankly, that's fine. It's been working quite well for him, really. He's been getting good trades in these tank engagements.
Certainly true. Now, we did just see a light come in. So there's a Pack 40 and a Martyr 3 that both gotten taken out in that northern forest. So you can see the MG42 is falling back. So expect to see more of a 50-50 being held here on the line. Wait a second. Wow, Grey Fox is not that much in B phase either. I mean, he's at a buttload of Valentine, so I'm happy to hear that he's so beloved. But not quite as overloaded as I would expect. I find myself expecting that there'd be a lot more Phase B when we have Vanguard incomes here.
Yeah, same. But I think they just get just enough to last through Phase B, and then they get the standard C phase stuff, just in case the game does go longer than 30 minutes, which is always a possibility. But it does make sense. Like, Phase A and Phase C are probably 2 of the most important phases in Steel Division 2. Phase B is just that interlude where you just need to buy just enough stuff for a 10-minute interval, really. Because then Phase A hits and you can just get much more availability per activation point.
2 things. There were 2 pack tracks in the middle. Actually, there was 1 pack track in the middle that was instrumental in shutting down the SU-76 push. And, I can't help but agree with you. I mean, you're absolutely right. A, and B are two of the most important phases. I'd probably add a third one there, probably phase C. So I'd say, three most important phases of the game. So,
All three phases, Khan.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
taking the piss
Yeah.
out of you for a second.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, you can have the piss. I'm not going to take it from you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I could use my Girardi. I need to try and uncover some spies after this match.
This turned really strange very quickly. Moving back into the game itself. The town continues to be rather hard fought over, but it's not a fair fight consistently. I mean, we have these DPs which are taking out the occasional half track, so I'm not going to go and steal that from them. But it's not infantry engaging infantry, it's vehicles just kind of pounding at vehicles.
Yeah, it's really just coming down to a tank fight here, which is quite interesting. I mean, really, like I said, JK really only has tanks to effectively contest the town right now.
Can I also just say I love this counterpunch is potentially coming into the northern piece here.
Ooh.
Except I have to be a little concerned about some of the sight lines. This Pack 40 is not going to get a... what the heck just happened? If he can get up there in time, he might be able to turn this to just oil and blood and mud.
Yeah, I do like his cry a lot, though, because that northern flank is pretty sparse. It's just an Urset's troop and then some support weaponry backing him up, and... Yeah, goddamn, these Focke-Wulfs have just been constantly on the map, just strafing. We haven't seen, like, his much...
Now there's a Pack 40, he's going to get some shots.
Yeah,
that's
there
one.
we go. And then the Flak 88 is going to join in the action.
Jeez. And this is what I'm concerned about, but this was a beautiful, beautiful... I'm not sure if he knew this was coming, but this is still going to be more than enough to kind of keep them contested. They're not making it across an open field.
Yeah, they've been forced to unload early, so he's really not going to make that push anytime soon. And that will give JKW to get some reinforcements in a short time.
Indeed he shall.
Indeed he shall. Down south is definitely, like, grinding down. Like, JK still holding that one flag down south, which is really all he needs to do. He could potentially try and counterpush the far southern run, but... Or it is possible, but I don't see him really doing that. Really have this quite nasty little tank blob here in the southern central position. Engage some half tracks.
I feel like if the SU-85 goes down, that entire push is stillborn.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I feel like that's stillborn. If that thing dies, that's down.
Yeah, he has like a bit of a chance with Valentine's, but yeah, SU-85 is definitely the high firepower in that fight. But we do have Panzer IVs and Pack 40s and a Flak 88 ready to shoot him.
Oh, absolutely. Town fight heats back up again. 2 more guard squads being moved on in there, and I think this might be a very important fight. I mean, as the KFZ's moving in with the 250 Mark 9s, those guys are guard killers. They really are.
Yeah, definitely the type of vehicles they want in the town fights. It's good auto cannons to completely pin down enemy infantry. And there's Panzer Grenadiers in there now. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty effective counterpush, and securing that flag will bring it back to a 13-11.
I thought it would have been a little higher than that. Maybe where the heck is... Oh, so we're just getting a little bit of ground that gained that one of those northern flags back.
Yeah.
And Grey Fox, I think, is running out of B-phase material because he's bringing 3 MGs, and I don't think he's just like has like a machine gun battalion that he desperately needs to bring into the front lines.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's really not looking good right now. Just losing that position in the center is really gonna screw him over. Because if you look on his side of the map, like the entry into the town is pretty open. You know, you slap a few Pack 40s and Martyrs in nearby forests, and you're not gonna re-enter in that town anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely not. But I think that's what these Panzer Grenadiers are being brought in slowly to do. Move out this last guard squad, and I think at that point you see the SDKFZ 259s move on up. Mm-hmm. I was wrong. The machine gun battalions are firing into that poor Pack 40. Dude, retreat. There we go. He's backing away. There we go.
Yep, they're gonna bugger off. They're gonna be taking some fire from the Flak KT8, but definitely a worthwhile trade here. I feel like Grey Fox should make a pretty effective push up north. It should probably be his next best bet once he gets kicked out of the town. Seems like it's what he's doing, as he is getting those Su-76s.
There's a minor bit of a missed opportunity here. I feel like there should have been some arty or something like that, that being placed to kind of interdict over here from JKW's side. I mean, especially as the bottom is quieted down quite so much, I get the feeling that there really should be some artillery to break up the attacks before they kind of, hit home.
Yeah. Up, and we got some...
Sorry, there's no Focke-Wulf coming in one side, and again coming in against these guards down to the middle. So
pretty damn effective.
Yeah.
And our lag 3 just gets stressed out before it can even get to its target, so that's pretty damn effective. From the Flak 88s, the Su-76s are gonna be brought in. I wonder how they'll do. I mean, that Flak 88 is really gonna be the main issue for them, and also just trying to get some more infantry to screen. Like, JK has a decent defensive position up north, even though it's a bit scarce.
Yeah, I mean, but scarce or not, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game when you're trying to go from that phase B into phase C, and it is phase C now. So I'm wondering, is that going to be a Tiger coming in? No, we're getting more Pack 40. So
it's just crazy. We haven't seen any heavy tanks from JKW, and he's playing the heavy tank division. It's all Panzer IVs.
Which is really, really strange to see, because, like, P4s, you know what I've said about them, and we know what Ryan has said about them. So it's really surprising to see such a commitment to them.
Yeah. I mean, they can work, and they can actually work, you just need to get them in 2-star veterancy. And that's what we see for most of them, they are being brought out in that 2-star veterancy. But yeah, usually just... I guess the counterpoint for not getting a heavy tank is that this map isn't super beneficial to them. It's pretty close quarters, so it's more likely to get blown up at a close-range firefight.
Su-85 has been bailed out.
Oh yeah.
Even if the martyr dies, he's done exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah.
No, he's gotten one of them. He's gonna get the other one as well.
Yes,
he's got the other one as well. Yep. Dude,
that was pretty rough for a while.
Exactly. He traded himself so effectively there. What was that? Jeez.
I wonder if
50 points for 120. That's great.
Yeah. I wonder if that bailed out S-35 will get recrewed, get a supply truck in.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even have a supply truck in his deck. I just realized.
That's exactly why.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to see that.
It's like, oh, he has no chance in hell. That's quite a ballsy move, not taking any supply trucks. I understand, not taking any in A phase. But, like, he's going to be losing out on refixing that tank, or if his stuff runs out of ammunition and he can't resupply it. But I guess the best option is just make sure it dies before it runs out of ammo, really.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the comment I was going to make is, 88 is starting to engage the Su-76s like crazy, so the Su-76 is, the blob will probably end up killing him.
Yeah.
But he might get just enough to get maybe 1 or 2 kills, that's 1. Okay, well, force a fallback. That's almost as good.
Flak 88. Okay, there we go. He gets pinned down finally. This is like a good use of what you use these Su-76 blobs for. Like good cheap tank pushes, even though they're not technically tanks. I mean, in tank fights you do pretty terrible, but against soft targets are pretty damn nice. So if there's Pack 40 in a ambush position, they're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, they're gonna have a bad time for a moment, but now they can just go and Death Star it to death,
Yeah. Or just focus fire.
I'm not sure I really agree with their decision to go to the peak runs, unless that was just a...
Yeah, I think you didn't see the Pack
decision.
40, yeah. It was like slightly pulled back, and there we go. Now he's in a better position to try to get some kills if the Pack 40 can actually hit anything.
He's got 1 already. I think he's got 2 or 3 already, so bail out right there. Now, one thing that's kind of silly, do bailout kills actually get scored?
I don't believe so.
That is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, especially in this case, because he has no possibility of, resupplying them.
Oh look, a 37mm. That would have been nice 25 minutes ago. Sorry, Focke-Wulf coming in with another ground pounding run. Going out.
I was expecting 1 dead SU, yeah, but I guess that won't be happening today.
Well, technically one of them's already been dead, but he's just mostly dead.
He's just, yeah, it's like half dead.
Well, it means at that point we go see Miracle Max to make him mostly dead to slightly alive. But that's a one Princess Bride joke that I will never make again, because apparently it did not land with my Canadian counterpart.
Nope, I
Um,
haven't actually seen the movie, Khan.
oh
I
my god,
know.
there's also a book too, for that matter. Yeesh. Oh man, that's okay. I love you anyway.
I know. We can't all be perfect. It's
That's true. That's true. But then if we were all be perfect, we'd be Canadian. So 172 off mapping called in over here, and yes, some artillery. I think it's a little bit belated, but hey, you know what? It's better than nothing. And we see a tap out before there could be any kind of completion. So now at this point, I'm just being edged and not getting any kind of artillery strike.
I know we wanted the big kabooms, but that won't be happening today, guys. We're very sorry.
There's one M-Shark's got himself a P4 and a couple of ground kills. There's an SU-76 who's got 3 half-tracks. Yeah, that's pretty much the issue, I think, is that a lot of the kills that happened, except for one or two guard squads, everything didn't really trade up. It just kind of went... It fell out.
Yeah, I definitely felt like a map match, if I can say the words correctly today, where it really felt, pretty much just came down to effective trading between both players, and JKW with his armor managed to trade effectively with the Panzer IVs and Marders and the pack gun positions.
Now, the funny thing for me, too, is if you look at the Focke-Wulfs, over here, the 190s have gotten like a baker's dozen of kills between them.
It's like, they did really good for just strafing. That's really good. Wow.
The Flak 88s as well. So, Dinkle over here, got himself a fair bit of kills. That's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ground kills, 4 of them vehicles. Paid himself off. Flak down here. 2. He's got 5 ground kills, 3 of them vehicles. He paid himself off. I mean, for the most part here, anything that died at least took something with him.
Yeah.
Or her. Or her. Maybe somebody snuck in somehow. I don't know. But regardless, solid match. I was not really expecting the third to get rocked on its heels so much. I think maybe a little bit more of a vicious attack early on might have definitely helped them.
Yeah, Grey Fox was definitely like pushing hard. He was trying to push north, center, and south, but he just could not really break through anywhere, and that was just not being able to trade efficiently. I also really like that map. I think it's a pretty good map with the flag positioning. And there's also just enough cover and maneuver where it's not just like big open field where you just can't move.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wish we see that map more often because it's one of the few good maps in this game.
That's fair. That is certainly fair. But hey, that's the way it's got to be sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts there, sir?
None today.
Well, in that case, folks, to be sure to come back over here on Thursday. And until Thursday, I'm Connell Work.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.